Understand that before the ministry of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, there was a ministry of Yahweh. And I want you to understand that Yahweh is not a wanderer, and Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, is a wanderer or was a wanderer. But Yahweh is not a wanderer. He is a member of the confederation that watches over all as God of the fifth seat and seventh density, highest density of consciousness. That's where Yahweh belongs. So the fundamentalistic gospel of Jesus suffered acceptance or persecution because he was building upon other contrary oriented information given to the people. That's something you have to understand. Why Jesus' ministry suffered. He was building what? The fundamentalistic gospel. That has to do with what? Love, forgiveness, compassion, and understanding of oneness, repentance from aggression, brutality, of which he was now building upon contrary oriented information given to the people by Yahweh of negative polarity. That's something you have to first understand. Why Jesus' ministry suffered. The information involved many structures upon behavior and promise power of the third density service to self nature. So the information or the gospel of Yahweh is a gospel that is built upon power and promise of what? Gratitude of the service to self nature. It has to do with what? Action and reward, failure and consequences, right? But when Yeshua came, he understood that there is a higher frequency or a better way we can reconcile this aspect or this style of living. That's why he came about with the fundamentalistic gospel that has to do with love, compassion, forgiveness, and reconciliation. So, in respect to the primal law of one, this orientated two distortions or informations, the gospel from Yahweh and the gospel from Yeshua, was impressed upon the third form of the entities, even today upon ourselves, to choose as an expression of free will as our humble service to the Creator. That's why there has been no instances where he persecuted people or forced many to follow him. That's why he even told the apostles, his disciples, that when you go, anyone who rejects you, shake the dust off your feet and leave the place or the city. Right? But Judas, being aware of the origin and mission of Jesus of Nazareth, but have no understanding on the law of free will. That is something Judas failed to. That no matter how powerful you are, no matter how knowledgeous, no matter how you understand the secret of the universe, the fecundity power of all beingness, there is what governs all those distortions, and that one is free will. Non-infringement upon the free will of another entity, for the law is reached unto all. But Judas, in lacking of that understanding, persuaded Yeshua HaMashiach to come forth because he saw that his mission or his gospel is better gospel than what was being taught, what has been circulating all through. So he was looking for a way to mount pressure on Yeshua to come forth, like to be bold, to exercise some brutality with his mission or his gospel. So he thought to himself, by exposing him to the very people who were looking for him to destroy, to kill, so that they can suppress his mission or his gospel, in selling him to those his enemies, he thought that Jesus was going to free himself because he knew the power, but he did not understand how the power functioned. So Judas tried to persuade Jesus, hoping he will defend himself, and by so doing, he placed Jesus in the hands of the very people who were looking for him to execute. And by so doing, the gospel, to some extent, let me not say the gospel because the gospel survived, but Yeshua was forced to exit. If you want to know more on this, read the Gospel of Judas and the Gospel of Thomas. It is among the lost book of the Bible. Why Jesus' ministry suffered. You now understand what was going on. The knowledge of the information impressed upon the thought form of the people by Yahweh, and that which Yeshua himself later brought on. So he was building already upon contrary orientated information.